Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the sixth Corporate Tax Majlis. Today we will be discussing about city registration of certain companies, which is recently clarified by way of public clarification duly issued by the FTA. And we received a certain questions, somewhere around 15 questions. So we will be answering all those questions. In the meantime, if you have any questions, then you can put in a Q&A or in chat section. You can post your question, and if we will be left with the time, then we will be answering those questions as well. So normally in the business, what we do, we cover certain area by way of presentation, and then we take the your questions while registering. Whatever question you posted, we take those questions, and then after, if time left, if there is any questions, live questions from the audience, then we take those questions. As most of you guys know me, that I'm Nishant Rayma, chartered accountant. I'm here since last 17 years. Started career with the KPMG. Now I'm leading the corporate tax practice within the RMC Tax Consultancy. So let's start with the first agenda of the day. So we will be covering two agendas: city registration, public clarification on city, and then after your question, and we will be answering your questions as I was telling you a while ago. Okay, so before we touch upon the public clarification on city registration, let's look at the provision of the FTA decision number 3, which provides certain deadline for the city registration. Before that, let's look at the important aspect of the city registration, corporate tax registration. Number 1, all taxpayers required to register and obtain city registration number, which we call TRN, on the Emera tax portal. Though it is old, but some of the new people I can see recently joined last year. Last Majlis also we run this slide, and we want to just refresh our memory for the important aspect. Second, registration process is open for all UE entity, including foreign entities and natural persons. So now, since deadline is already prescribed, one deadline already gone, the people whose license were issued in the month of January and February, irrespective of the year, in the sense, suppose 5 year, 10 year, 15 years back, your license was issued in the month of either January or February, then you were supposed to do the registration on or before 31st May 2024. Now that deadline gone. It means you will not required to do the registration. No. You have to do the registration even if you are left out or due to certain technical error or any problem. If you are not able to do the registration, immediately you should do the registration and wait for the response from the FTA. But immediate basis, even for those company who missed the deadline, need to do the registration. Second deadline is 30th June 2024. Now, in this month, those licenses which are issued in the month of March and April, they have to do the registration on or before 30th June 2024. As every Majlis, we are highlighting that if you are registered for the VAT, then there is a possibility of delaying registration, because if you have not amended certain item under the VAT, and certain item will be automatically populated for the city. So better to start now only rather than waiting until the 30th June 2024. Aspect number 2, registration process open for the UAE entity, foreign entity, and natural person. All tax group entity to obtain registration individually. Separate tax group application for by the parent company. So suppose you are planning to form the tax group under Article 40, first you have to register your company. That tax group registration is altogether different than the individual company. Every company require, it is must for every company to do the registration individually. Even if you are a group, even if you have a parent company subsidiary, still until unless you decided to form the tax group, then only you have to apply for the tax group. This was also question asked some of our clients that we have a subsidiary and holding structure, whether it is mandatory to form the tax group. No, only if you want to take the benefit and certain exemptions available under tax group, then only you have to form the tax group. Then item number 4, no requirement to register for the non-resident earning state source income. Suppose any non-resident is earning the income from the UAE, then once the withholding tax TDS will be applicable at a time, it will be a TDS at present. You will not require to register for the corporate tax. Only non-resident required to register if there is a P permanent establishment here or branch, or those companies which is located outside, registered, recognized, and established outside UAE. But if those companies are effectively managed from the UAE, in that case, you have to do the registration with the Federal Tax Authority, UAE Federal Tax Authority. Item number 5, suppose you miss the deadline or you have not done the registration at all, then there will be penalty of 10,000. And if you have a license, whether it is dormant, whether it is inactive, whether since 3 years you have not renewed the same, yet you have to do the city registration. How to do that? There is a separate procedure, but registration is must. Even if you want to liquidate, if you enter into the tax period, means all the company they already enter into the tax period, except people whose financial year is something different. Maximum they are following January to December, which is the calendar year. It means 1st January 2024. The tax period is already started. So majority of companies, suppose you form the company in the month of say October, November, December 2023, and you selected a year to combine with the 18 months, maybe in those cases, okay, your tax period will end differently, but otherwise your tax period, majority of the businesses tax period already started. Now, if you want to liquidate the company, then it is must to do the registration. Even if there is a zero revenue, even if there is a zero profit, even if your company is dormant, if you not register, then you will have a penalty of 10,000 and the government will not allow you to liquidate. If you will not liquidate, one day they will have a data that you have a live license, but you are not registered. Because both the Ministry of Economy of Region Authorities data is synchronized with the FTA. Then the item number 6, timeline not for the obtaining registration, but for the submission of tax registration application. So this is also important that irrespective whether you got a reply from the Federal Tax Authority, they have approved or not approved your application, but you have to apply. After deadline, even if they have rejected your application, still you have complied with the deadline since you have submitted the application. So this 6th and the 7th is a private clarification on city registration matter is now open. If you have a confusion, suppose you are thinking that I have a company which is effectively managed from here, and in those circumstances, if you want to go for private clarification, then by paying 1,500 to Federal Tax Authority, you can write privately Why private clarification? This is the what they issue is the public clarification, which is for all the businesses, whereas you want privately to clarify certain matter which is applicable only for your business. You can separately apply for the same, and they will be replying. They will give you written clarification on the matter asked by yourself, and which will be applicable only for your business. Okay, so let's now, since clarification on the city registration is there, so let's refresh our memory for the deadline. Some of the questions people ask on the deadline, so I thought that better to run this slide to look at the deadlines. Now, timeline for the tax registration of the resident juridical person. Here you can see that we have put resident separately compared with the juridical person. It means there is a separate deadline for the resident juridical person, separate deadline for the non-resident juridical person, as in certain circumstances, non-resident juridical person means the foreign companies are also liable to do the registration. So what we are seeing on this slide is only applicable to resident juridical person. Juridical person is different than the partnership, unincorporated partnership, or natural person. Juridical person is limited liability companies or legal form, legal companies like a partnership, which is the incorporated partnership called a separate juridical person, where the liability of the shareholder is limited to certain extent. So those all are juridical person. Here you can see category of resident juridical person, limited liability company, foundation, and onshore trust, public shareholding company, private shareholding company, partnership, which is incorporated also regarded as a juridical person, and free zone juridical person. It means all the businesses incorporated in the free zone shall be regarded as juridical person. In the free zone guide, they have clarified that natural person or unincorporated partnership cannot be regarded as a free zone person. By this way, they have settled the matter that if you have a business in a free zone, that either it is a juridical person or it is not a free zone person. So natural person located in a free zone shall not be regarded as a free zone person. This is clarified in the free zone guide. So let's look at the deadline for the juridical person. As we know that juridical person is liable to register with the Federal Tax Authority based on the date and month of the license issue. So if license is issued between 1st January to 31st January and 1st February to 28th February or 29th February, in such cases, it means